people say there's no bad business with good people. So apparently Chex is super successful now. And then now when you look back, when you're looking for your co-founders, when you guys were forming this group, how did you know this is the one that you can build a business with? And what are the traits that are most important traits that you would want to share with us?
Yeah,
there are other startup owners.
I mean, awesome question. There's no easy answer to this for sure. You know, finding a co-founder is kind of like getting married. Like you're getting ready to do something for the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, and or in those early days, it's probably just going to be you two, and you're kind of making a little bit of a leap of faith, right? So you got to figure out, I think, 2 things. Number one, where are you really strong, and then number 2, like where are you deficient, and be honest about to yourself about that. And then when looking for a co-founder, I think the core is making sure you're finding somebody that kind of fills that gap, right? So I think the most obvious one that people historically have done is technical and non-technical. So you have the business acumen, and I need somebody that knows how to build the thing. That's always a great example. I think the second thing that I typically look to or recommend or advise is you want to have somebody that you're going to probably disagree with a little bit, maybe kind of a weird take on that. There's some nuance to that. I think at the core, you have to agree on where you're going. So I think the motivation, like root of the people of why are you building this company? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want out of life? Like the kind of the questions that you'd ask on the first couple dates, like it's a similar kind of thing where you're probably not talking about the business or what you want to build, but it's like, where do you see yourself in 15 years? And like, what kind of person are you? And, like, I think those values and those motives need to be super aligned, but then on how you build, I think actually having a little bit of tension is super important. Because if you have too much echo chamber, if we agree on everything, I find there's not enough like healthy tension to actually get you through some of the more difficult times, right? So I would advise on that. Like you've got to feel like at the core, if we could, go for a drink after and not talk about the business, we're probably going to be friends and connect. But there needs to be a little bit of that, almost edge or grit, I would say, knowing that this person is going to be able to go and really take care of that. But yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing. I don't know the stat anymore, but 70% or first-time startups, I believe, are co-founder problems. It's a difficult thing.
Hi, Ben. I'm Jules, and I'm also very curious about the fintech space. And my question for you is, throughout your entire journey so far building Chexy, what would you say is the biggest mistake you've made so far, and what was the biggest thing that you learned from that mistake?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's more of a theme than I think a single mistake, and I think the thing that really comes to mind is I don't know how to phrase this properly, but kind of lack of focus. Right. And so what I mean by that is when you're early stage, and I think especially with AI now, you kind of have the ability to do a lot of things. And especially as you start to get some customers, like when we were in the position of raising A, and when the A kind of closed, our first board meeting with Kozla and the guys in the room, there's a recognition that there's like probably 6 or 7 paths that we could go down here that all theoretically could be successful. How do you make sure you're not chasing all these rabbits at once? And so, yeah, I think the mistake a lot of founders do is trying to just do too many separate things at once instead of making your core product just amazing. And I think the lesson learned from that, or the muscle to flex, is getting really good at saying no to things that seem promising or could be good, but ultimately are going to suck your time or be a distraction to your team. So very difficult in practice, I think, but knowing that, like, at the end of the day, an A+ product is what you want to build. I had one of our big investors. Yeah, I love the fireside there. One of our big investors made that comment to us, where an A+ product is better than 2 B products, even if the 2 B products make more revenue than the 1A. And it's a bit of a mental shift of, like, as a business, yes, we should be making money and doing whatever we can to grow the company, but especially I think in that kind of pre-Series B and especially early stage, like that segregation of thought will just have you kind of do 2 things mid. Right, instead of one thing that's going to be really, really exceptional. So that's what I think kind of comes to mind.